Today, we are diving into one of the wildest and honestly most important political appointments in recent memory. This whole story really makes you question everything you thought you knew about power, about experience, and what innovation even means. And this isn't just some funny political anecdote. It's a serious look at what happens when the rulebook gets thrown out the window. So let's get into the explainer on Harold P. Mumblesworth.
Okay, so our story kicks off in the Oval Office. They need a new Secretary of Defense, right? The Chief of Staff brings in a whole list of candidates. We're talking top-tier, highly qualified people. But President Orange O'Cloth takes one look and has a very different take. He's seeing decorated generals, seasoned diplomats, and his big complaint? Too much experience. You heard that right. That one single thought is what sent this whole selection process completely off the rails.
So if you're not going with experienced people, who do you pick? Well, the answer didn't come from some high-level security briefing or a fancy think tank. Nope, it came from the president's phone while he was just, scrolling through YouTube. And this, right here, is where the story takes its first really, really strange turn.
I mean, the contrast here is just staggering. On one hand, you have the standard checklist for the job. Years and years of military service, fancy degrees, top-level security clearances, all the stuff you'd expect. But that was all tossed aside. What caught the president's eye instead? The number of YouTube subscribers someone had and, apparently, great hair. And the man who ticked these new, very unusual boxes was none other than Harold P. Mumblesworth. And this, right here, is a direct quote. This is the kind of innovative thinking that got the president's attention. This comes straight from Mumblesworth's YouTube channel, which was called Harold's Hot Takes on Heavy Weaponry. Now, you or I, or any military strategist, might hear that and think it's completely absurd. But President O'Cloth's, he heard innovation. And that one idea, about submarines with wheels, is what got Harold an invitation to the White House.
Now, you gotta picture Harold P. Mumblesworth's day up to this point. It's a Tuesday. He hasn't sold any insurance policies. He just finished a detailed presentation on the strategic value of tactical beanbags to his cat, who was not impressed. And then his phone rings. It's Washington.
Seriously, can you even imagine that change of scenery? 1 minute, you're trying to get your cat to understand your military genius. And the next, you're being called to the most powerful office in the world. The whiplash from going from complete nobody to the absolute center of global power. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
So Mumblesworth gets to the White House. And this isn't just some stuffy interview. This is his big shot. His chance to lay out his unique strategic vision directly to the president. And believe me, he did not disappoint. His first big idea, which he'd apparently sketched out on a napkin, was his plan for foreign policy. Forget sanctions, forget diplomacy. Mumblesworth pitched a giant mirror in space. The idea was to, weaponize the sun against countries that weren't cooperating. And the president? He reportedly loved how unconventional it was. Next up, the defense budget. His big move? Gut the cybersecurity budget. Why? Because, and I quote, who's going to attack a computer when there are tanks to worry about? And where would that money go? To arming animals, specifically teaching dolphins how to use rifles. He even had sketches. He came prepared with sketches. But maybe the most mind-blowing idea was his plan for nuclear security. All those complicated, secure codes, his solution? Make them rhyme. His logic was that it would just be easier for everyone to remember them. The example he actually gave in the Oval Office, 1, 2, buckle my shoe, launch the nukes at who displeases you, apparently made a Secret Service agent start looking for the nearest emergency exit.
So after this incredible stream of ideas, what happened? Did they thank him for his time and send him back to Poughkeepsie? Not a chance. President O'Cloth was absolutely thrilled. He called Mumblesworth perfect for the job because he had zero experience. He offered him the job right there on the spot. So, just like that, Mumblesworth has the job. Now for the hard part, introducing him to the country and, more importantly, to the rest of the world.
The White House press room was completely packed. You could feel the tension in the air. This was a big, big deal. Naturally, the press corps kicks things off with the one question on literally everyone's mind. Okay, you're an insurance salesman with a small YouTube channel. What on earth qualifies you for this job? And this was his totally serious answer. He talked about his experience watching war movies, building model kits, and his strategic genius in the board game Risk. The entire room just went silent. You could have heard a pin drop.
Okay, so the press tries to recover. They pivot to a serious, complex, strategic question. How are you going to deal with threats from groups that aren't countries, like terrorist cells?
Mumblesworth's understanding of non-state actors was, let's say, creative. His brain immediately went to amateur theater. He literally compared a bad community musical to a national security threat. The disconnect in that room must have been just unbelievable. And then a reporter drops the bomb. The big one, a direct accusation that he had already committed a massive security breach by posting classified submarine locations on his public Facebook page.
And this is the craziest part. His defense was somehow worse than the accusation. He tried to correct the record. He said, no, it wasn't the locations, it was the blueprints. And it wasn't on Facebook, it was on Twitter. So in his attempt to defend himself, he just confirmed that he leaked catastrophic military secrets.
Now, that press conference, that wasn't just a one-time screw-up. Oh no, that was just a preview of what was to come. So this final part of our explainer is all about the day-to-day chaos of Mumblesworth's time in office. Just look at this timeline. It shows you how casual and constant the security breaches were. We're talking texting his mom about top-secret operations, leaving the nuclear football at a bowling alley. For him, the line between state secrets and just regular conversation basically didn't exist. This became his normal daily routine. The results of all these leaks just got more and more bizarre. Remember that birthday party Evite with the invasion plans? The leak was so public that the Chinese embassy apparently treated it like a real social invitation they had to decline. They even asked for a rain check on the invasion. You just can't make this stuff up. So, in the end, Mumblesworth's time in office totally changed what it meant to work in national security. Instead of worrying about threats from other countries, the main job at the Pentagon became internal damage control. Basically, a full-time job cleaning up the messes their own boss made every single day. And that's where we'll end it, with one last perfect Mumblesworth idea. It really sums up his whole philosophy. And it leaves us with a huge question, right? In this constant search for innovation and thinking outside the box, where do you draw the line between a genuinely fresh idea and just pure, unfiltered absurdity?